Hi, everybody. This is Nathan Weens, the apprentice nutrition detective, and I am here to do a health update video. Been a while since I've done one of these, been a few months, but this is a 6 month update. It is Friday, January 9th, 2026. And For those of you who don't know, I um, I changed my diet and the way I was doing things on June 28th, right after June 28th um, of 2025. So just over 6 months ago. And I want to bring you the results of that, how I'm doing so far, how far I have left to go, so forth. So um, I'm going to bring some numbers up and we will get into this. Okay. So how it started. June 28th, I um, was feeling pretty bad. I know I'd gained a bunch of weight and hadn't stepped on a scale in quite some time. So I bit the bullet, stepped on the scale, and I was 278.6 pounds, which is the heaviest I had ever been. Now, I have been part of the Love Your Liver, Dr. Garrett Smith's Love Your Liver program for almost 4 years now, and have been seeing clients for the last 3 years, helping people learn how to do the Love Your Liver program. So I've been part of the program for about 4 years, and for the last couple of years, up to this point, I had been taking the supplements and doing some of the things, but my diet had been pretty bad. I had been eating a lot of crappy food, including fast food and other kinds of junk food, um, and really was um, experiencing quite a bit of cognitive dissonance because I was telling people in telling clients in consultations one thing and I was doing something else. So I decided, okay, that's it. I need to do this correctly. So um, wrote a big post on X as well as on our network, explaining what had happened and the fact that I'd screwed up. So what I finally realized that for me, um, carbs, I was very sensitive to carbohydrates as a whole. Really done never had much of a sweet tooth, but the sort of more savory type of carbohydrates, chips, and that kind of stuff was very difficult for me. And even when I was eating healthy carbohydrates like beans and rice, um, it tended to make me crave more not so good carbohydrates. So I decided that I was just going to cut carbohydrates out more or less completely. So I went on what I call a modified, um, almost a carnivore diet. I still, um, I ate some cheese as a way to get some calcium, knowing that, of course, dairy, there's a trade off with additional vitamin A and vitamin D and other things. But was eating fairly small amounts, usually just an ounce or two a day, just to get some extra calcium. And most importantly, along with mostly eating meat, I was also continuing to actually increase the amount of soluble fiber in the form of sun fiber that I was taking, as well as activated charcoal. The reason for that is I wanted to make sure that I did not um, that the bile that was coming out of my liver did not just all get recirculated, which is one of the downsides or one of the major issues with almost only carnivore. So I wanted to make sure that my gut bacteria was still getting fed, that I wasn't going to have a gut dysbiosis, and also that um, the bile was getting bound up and pooped out rather than just recirculated. So I actually increased the amount of soluble fiber that I was taking. Um, so that was the plan. For the first month, I really didn't increase my exercise just because I didn't feel like I was ready. I didn't try to force myself. I was waiting for the time when I felt a desire to start exercising more, and that took about a month. But it did happen as I started feeling better. One of my main complaints was GERD, gastroesophageal reflux disease. Once I changed my eating habits and stopped eating carbohydrates, that disappeared pretty quickly. And after 6 months, as long as I'm not eating crap, it doesn't bother me at all. If I eat carbohydrates, particularly if I eat fast food, which I've done a couple of times, basically when traveling over the holidays, um, it has come back just temporarily when I eat that stuff. But as soon as I go back to eating what I was, what works better for me, that it goes away again. So uh, that's a big advantage. Back to the numbers. Like I said, June 28th, 2025, I weighed 278.6 pounds, and my abdominal circumference at my belly button was 52 inches. As of today, I weigh 255.6 pounds, so I've lost a total of 23 pounds. May not sound like really dramatic weight loss, but the thing about weight loss that's lasting is it's not that fast a process. The truth was, I was down as low as 250 pounds before the holidays. Um, I did kind of fall off the wagon a little bit and ate some stuff that I probably shouldn't have eaten, that I shouldn't have eaten over the holidays, but I enjoyed myself. I dealt with it, and now I'm getting back on track. So I gained about 5 pounds back, but I was down to I'd lost up to 28 pounds. So I'll lose that additional 5 pounds, and then we'll keep going. My abdominal circumference is 44.5 inches, which means I've lost 7.5 inches off my abdomen. For my body shape, I'm kind of a classic apple shape, which means that my arms and legs are kind of normal, and I had sort of a big gut, meaning that most of my weight was visceral fat. Fat cells in the omentum and fat cells around the organs. But that has decreased almost 8 inches in the last 6 months. So that's a big improvement. So that's how things are going so far. All right, so I want to get into my testing. I tested again the beginning of December. I tested in May when I hadn't made a whole lot of changes, and then tested again the beginning of December, and the results are pretty telling. So numbers from December, probably a little hard to see this. So retinol, vitamin A, back in June was 51.4. December 45.3, to drop 6.1 points. Over here, this column is overall change from when I started, from my initial testing back in 2022. So just to show that. So the first test I did, the first blood test I did was May 13th, 2022. And and then this last column is the overall change since that time. So just the change from May of last year till December of last year, or from May to December. My vitamin A is down 6.1 points. My copper went from 85 to 79. So it dropped another 6 points. Anything under 90 is ideal. So it stayed, actually got a little bit lower, but it's still in the normal range. So my zinc was 98 in May, but I actually took a zinc supplement the night before, so this is a little bit inaccurate. However, I did not. I held my zinc supplements before the December testing, and it's 107 now. So it's actually in our optimal range, which is 100 to 135. So it actually went up by 22 points in 6 months. Ferritin was 329. And then in May, and then it dropped to 231. I did one blood donation. So this is primarily just changing my diet. It allowed my my ferritin to drop 98 points, almost 100 points. So this one, for those of you who don't know, I talk about this a lot in my office hours, but my initial ferritin level when I started in 2022 was 877. So it was really, really high. So in the last almost 4 years, it has dropped 646 points. Still not normal. Normal is between 30 and 70. So I still got a ways to go on that, but it has dropped quite a bit in that time. All right. So the one that I was quite happy about, my testosterone, and this is total testosterone, in June or in May was 220. So still technically in the normal range, but very much on the low side of the normal range. It increased 91 points, so it's now 354. Or actually, no, I take that back. It increased 134 points. So it went from 220 to 354. This is without TST. The TRT. I haven't done any testosterone, none of that stuff. This is just from the Love Your Liver program and increasing my exercise. So I'm expecting that to continue, but something to bear in mind, men, if you're interested, the Love Your Liver program will raise your testosterone without having to do all the other supplementation, without having to take testosterone shots or any of that stuff. And then estradiol actually dropped a little bit, went down about 12 points, so still in normal range. But overall changes, my retinol has dropped 17 points. My copper went down 15 points. My zinc has increased 22 points. Ferritin has gone down 646 points. Overall testosterone in the last 4 years has increased 169 points. And estradiol has dropped about 14 points. Estradiol is not quite as important, other than to make sure that it's not, you don't want elevated estradiol as a man. So that is the blood tests. So moving on to the hair tests. Oops. Sorry about that. Okay. So my calcium went from 68 to 42. Optimal range is right around 42, between about 35 and 42. So it's now in the optimal range. Magnesium dropped a little bit, but it's still much higher than the calcium bar, which is what we want. If you look at the significant ratios, The calcium magnesium ratio is the one we pay attention to. Normal ratio is 3 to 7 or 3 to 11. Optimal is 3 to 7. Mine went from 7.01 to 6, so it actually improved. Um, so sodium and potassium on the hair test really don't help us um, because they only reflect what the body's getting rid of, not what we take in. Copper dropped quite a bit. It went from 3.4 to 2.2. It's still elevated. Normal range is between 0.5 and 1.5. Although I'm not really having a lot of copper toxicity symptoms, and my blood copper is in the optimal range. So I don't know if this is um, my body getting rid of some more copper, or if my copper is still kind of elevated. But it definitely dropped. It dropped 1.2 points, which is a lot. We usually see very small drops in copper. So it's definitely moving in the right direction. Um, and I think this probably has something to do with the fact that I started taking zeolite. I'm taking 1 scoop of zeolite per day. And zeolite being a chelator, it's drawing some more copper out of storage. Um, zinc dropped just slightly, went from 19 to 18. Um, so dropped a little bit. Phosphorus actually dropped a bit as well. Phosphorus we use as an indicator of stored zinc, or zinc reserves, as I like to think of them. We want it 15 or above. Mine's 14. It went from 15 to 14, which I would think which my interpretation is that my body used some stored zinc. Um, so I'm taking 60 milligrams of zinc a day, and for a while I was actually taking 90 milligrams. So I'm taking a fair amount of zinc. But the fact that my zinc numbers are actually dropping slightly on the hair test is probably an indication that my body is actually using more zinc. Zinc is an extremely important element in the detox cycles, in the detox process. So I see this as an indication that my detox is working more, is working harder, is processing more, and is probably using more zinc as a result. Iron went up just slightly. Still still at a good level. Manganese is good. Chromium's good. Selenium dropped just slightly. Went from 10 to 9. We'd like to see between 10 and 15. Yeah, I'm taking 2 keystone minerals a day, so I'm taking 300 micrograms of selenium. Again, selenium is one of those things that gets used a lot in the detox process. So my suspicion is this is just my body using some more selenium. Boron we don't test for, cobalt's good, and molybdenum stayed the same. It's 5. We'd like to see between 4 and 8, so it's right in the normal range. That's still good. And again, I'm taking 300 micrograms of selenium or molybdenum. And even though that's it's kind of the highest dose that I generally recommend, um, my molybdenum isn't increasing, which means that I'm using a lot of this, which is also another good sign that my detox is working well. Sulfur's good. Moving on to the toxic elements. Antimony we don't test for. Uranium actually came down a little bit, went from 150 to 113. I live in northeastern Washington. There's a fair amount of uranium in the water, so it's just something I deal with, even with drinking reverse osmosis water and having a shower filter, it's still there. Arsenic actually went up a little bit. My suspicion is this is probably also from the zeolite because I rarely eat rice these days. So this is probably just stored arsenic working its way out. Beryllium stayed the same, mercury the same, cadmium actually went down a little bit, lead's good. Aluminum went up a little bit. Again, I don't think I've got a lot more aluminum exposure. This is probably some stored aluminum. So the additional elements, they're all in the white or the lower green where we want to see them. There are some that have jumped up a bit. Bismuth went from 1 to 15. Rubidium went from 17 to 35, so that basically doubled. These are indications of the body getting rid of some the dumping, even though it doesn't really look like major dumping. The rest stayed the same. Strontium dropped a little bit just because my calcium dropped. Strontium and calcium have a big brother, little brother relationship. They go up and down together. And the rest look pretty normal. So significant ratios we talked about. Calcium magnesium ratio is good. All of my toxic ratios are good. So my daily supplement recommendation, or my daily supplement regimen. In the morning, I do some potassium gluconate. I do 6 99 milligram potassium gluconate capsules. I also do 1,000 milligrams of nicotinic acid. Probably starting next week, I will increase that to 1,500 milligrams. I do about 20 large sprays of Macahol. I do like the Nutrition Detective Magnesium Lotion as well, but my wife stole it. She uses that one, so I use the Macahol, which I also really like. So Sunfiber, taking 2 full scoops, which is 2 tablespoons of Sunfiber, and then also the same amount of activated charcoal as a way to bind to the bile so that it gets pooped out. I'm also taking 5 grams or 1 scoop of the Nutrition Detective Zeolite. And I haven't had any issues, so I'm just sticking with one scoop, and it seems to be working. In the evenings, at bedtime, I take 2 Keystone Minerals, which is 300 micrograms of selenium, 300 micrograms of molybdenum, and then 60 milligrams of zinc. I'm also doing about 1 to 2 teaspoons, so approximately 5 to 10 grams of MSG, the Ajinomoto MSG, sprinkled on my food. I use it since I'm eating almost all protein or primarily protein. I just put it on my protein meals. Most important, that's really the most important thing about the MSG. If you're eating carbohydrates, make sure that whatever your biggest protein meal is, that's where you use your MSG or take your MSG with that. All right, so excuse me. That's my regimen. In terms of exercise, I have martial arts classes that I take Tuesdays and Thursday nights. It's really more mild to moderate exercise because I'm teaching, so I'm not moving as much. I'm also walking on a treadmill after dinner, usually 30 to 40 minutes at about 3.5 miles an hour. Anywhere from 3.5 to 4 miles an hour. Like I said, 30 to 40 minutes per night on the nights where I'm not in class. And for strengthening exercises, I was doing hill sprints, but in northeastern Washington now, there's snow on the ground, so I really can't do sprints. So I'm doing kettlebell exercises. I have a detached bicep that they weren't able to fix, so I have to be careful about that. So I do 2-handed kettlebell swings with a 30-pound kettlebell, 10 sets of 10, so 100 reps. And then I'm doing, just started doing 10 goblet squats with 30 pounds, and I'll be working on that. I just started doing the squats a week or so ago, so that's one that I'm going to work on. Anyway, so that's my routine. I obviously would like to be a little bit further along in terms of weight loss, but something to bear in mind about health and fitness, particularly working with the program that we work with, is that things take some time. The body does not work quickly. And if you're losing weight fast, that's usually a, a long-term bad thing. It's much more helpful to lose weight slowly so that your body has time to adapt. Uh, so for those of us who are what we call overs, where our bodies are very good at storing toxins in fat cells, thus we gain weight, gain fat, versus unders who have a more difficult time doing that. Weight loss or fat loss is much more about mobilizing the toxins in the fat cells so that they can then shrink back to their sort of the size that they want to be. So this is a toxin removal. So weight loss for me is a toxin removal process, and it's not a fast process. So I'm working on it. Like I said, I'm down about 23 pounds at this point. My goal, I was 278.6 pounds. My goal is to get to 178.6. Well, not 198.6 pounds. So I want to lose 80 pounds, and I want to get down under 200 pounds. I'm 6 feet tall, so that actually is a pretty healthy weight. I'm 56 now. I'll be 57 the beginning of April. So the fact that I'm able to lose weight, that my testosterone has increased, and that I am generally feeling much better is a testament to how well the Love Your Liver program works. Now, full disclosure, I see clients. This is part of my income. It's not my main job, but I am also an example of how this works if you do it correctly and how you can screw it up. So I hope this was helpful for you. I'm very happy with the way things are going, and I'm excited to see um, how I can continue to do in the future. I know it's a long process, but I'm committed to it, and I'm really excited about continuing. So I hope this was helpful. Um, if you have questions, please put them in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. I'm also going to be, if you follow me on X, I'll also post an update there. Feel free to comment there if that's easier. If you're part of the Love Your Liver program, feel free to send me a message or comment there. I'll post this there, both here and on Rumble. And I'll post this on YouTube as well as Rumble. And I hope you're having a wonderful new year and that 2026 is a great year for you. Thank you very much. Have a great day. Bye.